Hey, you know what time it is. It's your boy, Mack B. I'm back in the building, back at it. Sports Hot Media, episode 35. And we got a big show for you today. I got my player partner from way back, my homie, the talented Noel G is in the building. What's up, family? How you feeling, dog?
My crime partner back in the day.
What's up, man? How you feeling, dog?
What's cracking? How you been, G?
I'm good, man. Right on for pulling up, man. Everything good with you?
Yeah, straight, bro. Can't complain. You know the old saying, man, when I complain, nobody listens anyways.
That's right?
You might listen today.
I feel you, homie.
That's all love, G. How you been, bro? You been all right?
I'm good, man. Just grinding.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's
we
all you
always
can
see each
do.
other, in different cities and moving around. And, we finally made this happen, man. So we're going to jump right in.
We got to do what we got to do to keep our head above water. I get it.
That's right, man.
All day.
That's right. Definitely, man. Throw me an inner tube in the ocean if I'm sinking.
I know, right?
That's the only thing I ask.
I throw you
player.
a lifeboat, homie.
That's
not
right.
An inner tube,
Throw
bro.
me a life vest or something,
I got you,
man.
dog. I have one of them water planes land for you, dog. I got low friends in high places. I make things happen.
All right. I know you do, homie. So let's jump right in, family. Talk to me about, the early days, man, when you were a teenager, before you got in the game and got in the industry. Take us back to what was Noel G like? What were you doing at that time, man?
Yeah, my story was a little different, because I didn't grow up poor. I grew up in a middle-class home.
Okay.
To the age of 13 years old. I had everything a kid could want. I had a home. I had clothes in my closet, food on the table. Everything was straight. And, to fast forward, though, my dad was a miserable guy. He just hated his life.
Yeah.
His life was work television, just, couldn't stand what was happening in his life. Was always an angry man. Abused me physically, mentally, my mom as well. And just to, cut out the fat and get to some of the bone, one day my dad just picked up and bounced at the age of 13. And I went from a middle-class home to literally nothing but the clothes on my back, $500 in my pocket, no family to call, alone in the streets. I don't blame my mom for leaving. That's a whole nother story. Right. But the short story on that is if my mom didn't leave with my dad, there would have been 2 homeless people instead of 1. My dad was the breadwinner, and I convinced my mom that I got a place to stay, that I'm okay, go with my dad. I call it the 2 weeks of hell, because when they were packing everything, putting everything in storage, and they were, getting ready for my dad was getting ready for this move, my mom fought tooth and nail to keep my dad there. Said, what kind of man are you? Who did I marry? What's wrong with you? What are you thinking? And I call it the 2 weeks of hell because I've seen my mom fight tooth and nail, begging my dad, pleading for my dad not to leave. And so I had to convince my mom. I said, I actually got a place to stay. Don't worry. Go with my dad because my dad was the breadwinner.
Right.
And so anyways, I don't blame my mom. I don't want to get stuck on that. But so yeah, I got left at 13. So, I start doing what I got to do to survive in the streets. I started, messing with the wrong crowd. I started renting cars without asking people.
Right.
I got involved in the street pharmacy business. Me and a lot of my homies were part-time movers. We'd move things from like other people's houses to like where we were at. And we do our dizzle, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, right. And then 2 years later, from 13 to 15, I slept in laundromats. I slept in donut stores. I didn't have a place to sleep. I did the couch tour. Yeah. Went from friend's house to friend's house. But let's be honest, when you ain't paying the bills at someone's house, your welcome is gonna run out eventually. You feel me? And so, long story short, I was like, sleeping in all kinds of different places. And then at 15, this girl asked me one day, she said, how come you always wear the same clothes where I never seen where you live? So I ain't gonna front. I broke down, I started crying. I told her straight up, my parents left me, this is what it is.
Right.
She took me into the home, and the dad, was a very loving man. He was a pastor of a church at the time. And it was the first time ever in a home where I saw structure, order, real love of a family. It was the first time I ever witnessed that / experienced that. And, I wanted that so bad because I never had it.
How old were you at that time?
I was 15.
Okay.
At that time. And so my parents left me at 13. I was homeless for 2 years. That happened at 15. But she wanted to be an actress, not me. I wasn't even thinking of what to do at that age. You feel me?
Your mom wanted to be an actress.
No, the girl I was living with, the girl that I moved in with, right? Because I had a girl, and she asked me one day, how come you always wear the same clothes? I never seen where you live. She introduced me to her dad, talked to her dad. Dad heard my story, took me into the home. So I'm living there with this family. And the girl that I was dating at the time, she wanted the Hollywood dream.
I got you.
I never thought a day about it because I'm running the streets acting a fool, let alone I didn't even think I could be anybody or someone or even work or get a job. Or if you weren't a shaved head Mexican cholo, I didn't know how to talk to anybody else.
Right.
I thought that's the only people I could talk to, you feel me? And so one day she asked me to go to this acting class with her. And I literally was a lottery ticket story, bro. I literally was a right place, right time story. I went to this acting class with her and never thought about acting a day in my life. Right place, right time, kid you not. I started talking smack in the classroom because I thought everybody was dorks and nerds. And I'm running the street and I'm just, mouthing off, doing my thing, acting like a fool, class clown. Right place, right time. Never thought about acting a day in my life. There was a producer who was sitting in class that day scouting talent. Comes up to me and he says, "You want to be in a Taco Bell commercial?" And I thought he was on some BS, whatever. I was like, but I gave him and it ended up being real.
Right.
2 weeks later, I'm doing a commercial for Taco Bell. I was on set, bro, and I'm working. And at 15 at the time, I didn't know what residual checks are.
Right.
I was clueless to that. You know what I'm saying? And for the people watching who don't know what residual checks are, what residual checks are is every time they show the commercial, you get a check. So imagine working on a commercial one day in your life, but if they show it 15 times in one day, that's 15 checks. You feel me?
Right.
I was 15. I was ignorant to that. I thought it was a computer mess up. But I cashed in the checks.
A glitch, right?
I thought it was a glitch, homie. I had my story for court. They kept on paying me. I didn't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had my story ready to go, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on cashing. So I'm cashing all these checks. And I call up the producer and he broke it down to me. He goes, no, that's how actors get paid. I said, what? I said, well, I want to be an actor. I said, you get paid like that, you know what I mean? So he liked me. He's like, man, you're a funny dude. I like you, bro. He's like, I have a manager friend. Let me see what I can do for you. So he hooks me up with this manager cat. I come in looking like this. I don't know nothing from nothing. And he's like, man, I like you. I'm going to see what I can do. But everything he set me out on was Gangster 1, Cholo 2, Trigger. I said, gee, I thought I was here to act. I grew up like this in real life.
Right.
I mean, I've been to college once. I had to drop somebody off. But long story short, man, I'm right there. And yeah, bro, and that's how the acting career got started. And long story short, even though that was a long story, that's how I ended up where I'm at today. Right. So yeah, bro, just, been working ever since. And I never graduated high school, never been to college. And, I've been very blessed in my life and fortunate to, have a lot of the opportunities that I have and / had. So, yeah.
Right. And we go back 20 plus years, man. And I remember.
And you were with me in some of all that, yeah, bro. You were with me in some of the mess, bro.
Crashing auditions.
In the mess, there's a message.
Music videos, Blink 182.
All day, right.
I mean.
I remember we were hopping from set to set to set. Like, homie got to get paid. And we
double dipping, right?
We were triple dipping, homie. You being humble.
Those were the days, humble. Bro. And tell me about the process, because we did that, man, and we eventually elevated, right? Particularly you did with the Fast and Furious franchise. What was it like working on that inaugural film with Vin Diesel? Rest in peace to, the great Paul Walker as well. Talk to me about that experience working on the first film with those guys and how that changed your life.
So I'll back you up 2 seconds to give you one thing you said first and then jump into the second. So when we were doing extra work together, me and my boy, I call him Fatal, but now it's Mack B, you know what I'm saying? Because those are the street days.
Right.
As you grow up, you mature,
things change.
You use wisdom, things change, and yeah, of course. I'm like, if you still gangbanging at 50, you got an issue.
Yeah,
you got a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need some serious help, bro. It's like, get in the middle of the circle and talk to us. But no, long story short, man, which means it's going to be a longer story again. Nah, I'm playing. But so when we were doing extra work back in the days and we were running and going from this set to that set to that set, getting paid and, doing our deal, it was funny because I don't know if you knew this or not, but, well, actually you probably didn't because it was before I met you. But back in the early days, I was taking an acting class. So, the manager that I was with was like, you need to fine tune, your acting. He's like, you're a good actor, but it has to be polished.
Right.
It has to be tamed, so you can get more work and, more auditions and we can start booking more jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So I said, all right, cool. So I was taking this acting class. And I remember when I was taking this acting class, I was taking this class for like a year. And there was a difference. I found myself becoming a professional student instead of a working actor. So one day I went up to the acting teacher and I said, check this out, man. I said, man, you got to tell me how to get a job, homie. I ain't got money like this. You know what I'm saying? This is when I was working at Walmart, Burger King, Kmart, Denny's. I worked at Toys R Us, KB Toys Store. I worked at a place called Pizza Mania, delivered pizzas. This is when I was doing all kinds of Olive Garden. I was a busboy there.
Yeah.
And I was working all odd 9-to-5 jobs. And I told the teacher, I said, hey, you got to tell me how to get a job, homie. I ain't got money to keep on paying for acting classes like this. I said, so I never forget, back in our days when there was no emails or none of the luxuries that they have today.
Social media went
That's the best way to say it, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have some of the luxuries back then that we do now.
Right.
So we physically had to take a picture, put it in an envelope and mail it and, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But anyways, my point, I told the acting teacher, I said, you got to tell me how to get a job, man. And I never forget, he pulled me over after class and he showed me this book that was called The Agencies. Had all the agencies listed from LA to Orange County to San Diego. Every agency was in there for, theater, commercials, television,
right.
Stage play, whatever, right? But under 90% of the agencies, I'll never forget this, and this one helped me the most in my life. Under 90% of the agencies, in big black bold lettering, it said absolutely no phone calls are personal deliveries under 90% of the agencies. But you know what my acting teacher told me? He said, you know what that's really saying? He's saying, all that's saying is if you don't think you're good enough, don't walk into their office. So I had to look at it a different way.
Yeah.
So,
10 percenters. You were part of the 10 percenters.
I'll take that. So what you got to learn in life is how to take risks, take challenges. You got to sometimes, I always say, if no one gives you an opportunity, give the opportunity to yourself. Open up that door somehow, some way. God himself says to use strategy and wisdom,
right?
But stay in the box of respect and doing it also as well. So long story short, what I did was I got that agency book. I marked down all the same agencies from lowest address to highest address, and I just walked in their agency. I said, hey, my name's Noel G. I'm an actor. I'm looking for an agent to represent me. And as quick as I walked in, some of those agencies kicked me out as quick as I walked in. Right. But there was a few in the circle that said, you know what? I like your courage, man. I like what you just did. Let me see if I can help you. And I never forget it, like God is my witness. I went home one day. I had 17 messages from 17 different agents. And I signed up with all 17 agents. So my point in saying that was to tell you this. When we were doing extra work, at the same time, I had agencies that were sending me out on auditions.
Right.
Actual auditions.
Real auditions.
To get speaking roles. And that's how I got above the curve. Because I was doing some moves behind the scenes on my own as well. Right. Trying to, get in the game. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so when I started getting auditions, for speaking roles now, which is a whole different beast, I started getting hired and face started getting recognized, quote unquote. And then I, could no longer, obviously, of course, do extra work.
Right.
So that's how I broke out of that. I'm just saying that's how I broke out of that cycle.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now let's transition to Fast and Furious, the inaugural film.
Right.
Set it all off. What was it like working with Vin Diesel, working with Paul Walker? Rest in peace to that king. I knew him as well, before he passed. But talk to me about that experience working on set.
That experience was surreal. I mean, straight up, it's the one that lifted off the roller coaster. Paul Walker, the most humblest dude in the world. The way I say it about Paul Walker, beyond cool people. Like this is the way I say it about Paul Walker. He doesn't care if you're the one washing the windows on the building or own the building. He treat everybody the same. He don't care if you washing them or owned it. You people are people, right? And what I love about Paul, man, was just so genuine. And I believe he was the heart. Yeah. He's still alive in our hearts today. It's so sad, what happened. Well, that was a tough day for me, plus, a lot of other people. And, working with them and getting that opportunity / chance to be able to work with them in a movie and, be in history with them, is the best way to say it is, still to this day, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? Sometimes to this day, I'm like, who am I? You know what I mean?
You picture yourself
I'm like,
this really happened?
Was it a dream? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it was funny to work on that film because it was like getting paid to party. It was like a moment I was on set where I was like, damn, are we filming a movie here? Are we just hanging out? Because that movie was insane, bro. I got a couple child support cases on that joint.
Did you ever think it would get to the level it got to, right? When you're in the middle
Never. Well, you got to remember, when we filmed that movie to begin with, that movie was an independent movie.
Yeah.
It was an independent joint, and you got to remember respectfully, too, Paul, of course, was Paul before Paul, but I'm just saying that's the movie that lifted their careers so much more so for Vin and Paul.
Next level.
Yeah, so it put them on a whole nother level than they were already on. They were on a level, but I'm saying that film took them to the next level. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, bro, like Vin Diesel, cool people, man. I got to thank Vin, too. I got to give him a shout out. If it wasn't for Vin, I wouldn't have been back in part 7.
Yeah.
That was a personal request from Vin Diesel that when they did Race Wars in part 7, he wanted to see a familiar face at Race Wars, and your boy Noel G was the familiar face.
Right.
So to come back to part 7, it was like, hell yeah. I remember when my agent called me, I was like, you got the right number? I was like, hold up. But so yeah, I've been very blessed in my life, man, to work on some of the projects that I have done. And, but yeah, Fast and the Furious was the kickoff to the roller coaster.
Right.
That was the game changer.
Right.
Let's
pivot to Training Day. Denzel Washington, that was a huge film.
Yeah.
What was it like working alongside such a legendary actor, man?
I always tell people.
Were you nervous at all?
Oh yeah, 100, because you got to bring your A+ game. There's no excuses. Right. There's no excuses. You hear what I'm saying? There is no excuses. Yeah. Like, you got to be on top with them. Like, that's it, period. Like, there's no excuses, bro. Like, I can't punch that enough. But, I always say your best teacher is experience, period. You could be taught all day long, but when you on the battlefield itself, I mean, you learn more than you ever will out of a book or a classroom.
Right.
Because you on the battlefield itself, you feel me? And long story short, man, being on that battlefield, my whole point, getting to watch pros work, and we talking about pros, was a whole nother level for me, man, and up my game, in the acting deal a lot, because again, I'm working with pros, and you got to keep up. And I punch it again. There is no excuses.
Right.
So you got to bring it, or you get the heck on, because if you don't, there's 50 other cholos behind me ready to bring it. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, man, to be in that movie, I was blessed, and that was one heck of a roller coaster, bro. Straight up. Training Day. That also even punched the roller coaster a little, faster, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, bro, to be a part of such iconic classics and, legendary movies, I'm just so humble / thankful and still in disbelief to this day.
Right. And speaking,
and I'm happy all the checks cleared too.
That's right. Speaking of legends, man, and I really thought this was a good film, man. The Mule with Clint Eastwood. What was it like working alongside Clint? He's such an iconic figure, right? And he's got to be like, what, 80, 85?
Yeah, he up there.
What was it? Well, tell me about that experience working on that project with him.
Every movie surprises me, bro, because every movie you work on, you get a different experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors.
Right.
When I worked on The Mule, man, it was crazy because Clint Eastwood was so calm, cool, and collected. I can't even press that. So calm, cool, and collected that they use sign language to yell action, cut, we're rolling. They don't even say it. They rolling, and he has a line of people. Yeah. Like, they let people know, like, quiet on set.
Wow.
And I got the opportunity to talk to him and ask him, and I said, hey, Clint, why do you use sign language on set and keep everything so silent? I go, I've never been on a movie before in my life where it's been done like that. Never. And he said, because sometimes when a lot of people are yelling, action, cut, rolling, people feel disrespected. And it sets a vibe, it sets a mood that's not the correct mood for the scene. So he goes, I like everything to come in quiet and silent and smooth. And he goes, that's how I do my deal. And I was like, wow, bro. Yeah, I never once on that set heard action, cut, none of that, bro. Everything is done in sign language. And then Clint, when he directs, he's so smooth. He'd be right here chilling with you, and he'd be like, "Do your scene. Let me just see what you guys brought to the table."
Right.
And he watched the scene, and then let's try it this way. Now, what if you do this and then you say this? Let's try that. And they just keep it rolling like that, bro. And that's how he directed the film. It was the craziest experience I've ever had in my life, bro. So again, man, like I said, forget what you learn in a classroom or a book. That can help you to prepare you.
Right.
But when you're on the battlefield, it might be a different situation.
Hands on.
And so, to work with a legend like that and just to see how his process works. But, he earned it, rightfully so, but I'm just making a point. When you got a lot of money to make a film, you can do things like that.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? So for the independent filmmakers, I'm not saying that's the way to go, this, that, or the other. And if you can pull it off however you can, and you can pull that rabbit out the hat, amen and hallelujah, and, keep damn, all right, you got me. Right. But I'm just saying, when I always say this, in any movie I've ever been on, more money, less headaches. Less money, more headaches.
Real talk.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's just the way it goes in any flick. But, the point that I was making is Clint got the capability to do whatever he wants to do, how he wants to do it. And it was one of the most smoothest film sets I've ever worked on in my life, in my career.
Right. That was shot on location out here in LA, or where was it?
I was shot in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
It was in Georgia.
I was in Atlanta, Georgia for a whole month.
Wow.
Yeah, I was out there for a minute. So I got to be on set quite a bit.
Okay.
See how they do their thing, get down behind and on screen, and and everyone was just so cool.
Yeah.
Chill, mellow, and that's the way it gotta be, You know the old saying. We all know this one. This is just a given. If you love what you're doing, it ain't work. And that's exactly what you saw on that set.
Well said, well said. Let's pivot to something that's personal, man, for both of us. I'm a man of faith, man, and let's talk about your relationship with Christ, man, and how that compels you to spread the messages and put in the work. Particularly, you've got a project that we'll touch on a little bit later. But talk to me about your faith. How did you convert, and what that means to you, and how that resonates not only with you individually, but your fans, your family, things of that nature.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of funny. So when I met that girl at 15, her dad was a pastor, as I said before.
Yeah.
And it was the first time ever in my life hearing about Jesus Christ. First time ever in my life, And he started explaining Jesus to me. And so, like I said, when I started living with them in their home, it was the first time ever in my life, once again, that I saw love, structure, order in a family. And, what I've learned in my walk with God is that so many people live out of order, but want to be blessed. God can't bless disorder.
Right.
God can only bless what's in order.
Right.
And long story short, getting to see that / experience it, it was like wow for me. But I keep it 100. When the commercial kicked off and all the money came in and I saw the short skirts and the partying, I said, thanks God for giving me what I need. I don't need you no more. It's us who walk away from God. God never walks away from us.
You turned your back.
I turned my back. I got into, caught up in the Hollywood scene and, wild out and, did my thing. Pretty much anything you could think of. Yeah, I've been there, done that, did it.
Right.
And, it was just one heck of a wild ride. And you were with me in some of that.
That's right.
And, and a lot of that. A lot of that. And, yeah, right. And that's none of it's on paper.
There wasn't no social media back then.
Right. The record's up here.
Yeah. The camera phones wasn't popping then.
Right.
Thank goodness.
That was on a whole nother level, And so, long story short, man, it was in 2007. I met this guy, and we met on Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and he was like, hey, you so-and-so from the movies and this and that. We just started chopping it up for 3 hours.
Really?
And all we talked about was movies, sports, cars, Hollywood. I call it Hollywood.
Right.
So we're clear. And we were just talking about everything and everything else. And here's my point why I say that when I say that. So then at the end of the 3 hours, he said, hey, you wanna ride back to your car? And I said, yeah, because, Warner Brothers is a big lot. It's like a miniature city.
Yeah.
So he took me back on the other side of the lot where my car was parked up, way on the other side, and the little golf cart deal. And when we got there, he went like this to me. He said, all right, G, shake my hand. He goes, all right, G, it was nice meeting you. He goes, Father God, I want to pray for this brother right here. And he just started praying for me.
Wow.
He didn't mention one word of God for 3 whole hours we were talking. He just got to know me from me.
That caught you off guard.
And caught me way off guard. And I ain't gonna lie, man. If I'm being transparent, humble, and straight up and just completely honest, on camera in this podcast with you.
Yeah.
I broke down. I started crying.
Right.
It touched me. It just got me out of left field. I started crying. I was like,
nobody ever did that for you.
No, never. And so we had a good relationship for 1 year, and I'm keeping it 100. And the 1 year, I'm trying to get him to go to the strip club. He trying to get me to go to church. And but I saw something real in this cat who I didn't see in a lot of people. This fool was genuine. He was real about his walk with God. There was a true transformation in his life. He wasn't on and off. He was always on. You feel what I'm saying? And I was like, there's something different about you, bro. But one thing I couldn't understand was this guy was broke. He had a small apartment the size of my bathroom, had a beat up truck, always wore the same clothes almost, was always struggling to pay his bills. And one time I told him, I said, you got nothing, man, but you're always happy. I don't get it. And he looked me straight up in the face and he goes, no, you're wrong. He goes, I got everything I need in my life, which is Jesus Christ in my heart. And I was like, damn, bro, that's a home run.
Wow,
he
that's
hit
a
me
powerful
hard.
statement.
And I wanted what he had. And so one day I told him, I said, I want to do business with you. Well, I'm tired of the people who say and don't do, talk and don't come through, all this different stuff. I said, man, there's something different about you. Like, you truly are a light in the dark. So anyways, to fast forward the story, he took me to this Christian seminar, and it was a setup. And it was a good setup, but I'm gonna cut out some fat to punch to the end. So I'm in this seminar for like 2 days. And what got me about the seminar was they demonstrate scripture. They role play it. So not only do you hear it, you actually see it.
Visualize it. And it got me in a whole different way, bro, like I've never seen before in my life. Right. In my life. These were like ninja Christians, homie. Like, these were like Navy SEAL Christians, bro, straight up, dog. Like, on a whole nother level, homie. Like, yeah, demonstrate scripture for you so you could be like, oh, I get it now. Right. I've always heard the word, but I didn't really, but now that I've seen it, now I get it more so than I already got it. Now I really, really get it. You feel me? And so at the end, bro, I asked the dude, I said, hey, man, I feel like Jesus is tugging at my heart. I feel like Jesus is right here with me. I feel like he's calling me. I feel all these, different things, but I don't feel Jesus inside of me. The way you're talking about Jesus inside of me, I got to know how I feel Jesus inside of me. And he was like, I never forget his answer. He said, in order for you to receive Jesus Christ fully into your heart, he goes, you're going to have to sacrifice, and it will cost you something. Mm-hmm. And so they prayed for me at the end, and I wasn't even thinking it, bro. It popped up out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. Left field, wasn't even thinking about it. It was the pastor who ministered to me when I was 15 years old. Really?
Came into my head out of nowhere, bro.
Wow.
And I broke down. I started crying. I turned my life over to God. And the real proof of God was the transformation in my life. That's when I got married.
Yeah.
I got no judgment, to each their own. You do what you do. He does what he does. 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 I got no judgment on nobody. But I'm saying for me, the transformation in my life was getting married, no more drinking, no more smoking. I never walked into a casino for 7 years. Mm-hmm. It was a real transformation in my life. And so my faith has sat with me strong ever since then. But now if we fast forward to 2015, from 2008 to 2015, I went from demon to angel like that, overnight.
Right.
Black and white.
Right.
Overnight, bro.
Right.
I'm talking Monday to Tuesday, like, done, finished, like overnight, bro.
Yeah.
I went from smoking, drinking. You saw me.
Yeah, you changed.
I was a male slut the whole deal.
You changed your life.
But then in 2015, if we keep it at 100,
which we do on this show, we do that.
And I'll go there with you.
Let's do it.
I got no shame, bro. And I don't care, man, about people who judge or think whatever they think.
Right.
In 2015, I messed up. I gave back into sin. I lost my wife. I call it explosion day, you know, because I lost my marble. And I did 3 things in one day that I didn't do in 7 years, which is crazy, bro. I went back to a casino, I drank, and then I cheated on my wife with the cocktail waitress. The worst decision I ever made in my life. And ever since 2015, I've been struggling again like anybody else. I'm a lot better now because we in 24.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that day I wanted to commit suicide. I thought my life was over. I thought it was done.
Right.
When we got into our little deal, I remember I was at the beach for like 4 hours. I was crying. I was bawling. And something snapped in me. I said, I ain't no little girl. I'm keeping it clean. I said the other word. I ain't no B, you know, whatever.
Right.
So I went to the casino and I made 3 wrong decisions in one night that took my life backwards. So now we fast forward to my faith now to cut out the fat and get to the bone.
Right.
I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but what I also have to know / learn is that Jesus is not a pass to sin. You know, people could sit here and rationalize and justify their actions every day and however they want with Jesus, but sin is sin, period. No matter how much we rationalize or justify, you feel what I'm saying?
Right, it's still wrong.
And my point of saying that is that, exactly, and my point of saying that, and I'll close with this, is when someone is really genuinely serving God, I'll just say 2 quick things. Number 1 is, you ain't gonna be the most popular person.
Absolutely.
You ain't gonna be the most popular. They even said it Jesus even said it in the Bible. They hate the Jesus inside of you, not you for representing Jesus, you feel me? And number 2 was, dang, I forgot number 2. Number 2 was, I was just saying Jesus is not a pass to sin, but I forgot number 2. It's gonna come back.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah. But long story short, in the walk that I'm in now, I'm in a tug of war, but I'm still talking about God because, you know, the way that I've learned is like, you know, when you're up close on a fan, and you feel the air. Mm-hmm. The farther and farther away you get from a fan, you don't feel the air no more.
Not as powerful.
So no matter what you're going through and whether you're sinning or not or still or what, that's your own business. But you still got to stay close to that fan, which is God's word. Because if you don't, the farther away you get from that fan and you don't feel the air no more, you might stray too deep or you end up downstairs instead of upstairs.
Right.
So even in my mess, I'm just staying close to God's word and the fan because I know, like he did in 2008, he'll just zap me again. And one day I'll just get zapped again and I'll jump right back into what I was in between 8 and 15.
Right. No, I totally respect the vision and you being transparent, man, because we all go through challenges, man. You know, life is not peaches and cream. You know, even when people watch my show or see you in films or see me on TV sometimes, man, they think it's just all glitz and glamour. They just think we got this life, we just got it made and we don't got no problems and everything is good. It's like, nah, if anything, it's worse.
Right. They don't see the story behind.
There's expectations, right? There's pressure. There's things that people want you to live up to and you want to live up to them as well, right? So there's a lot of challenges out there. So I totally relate. Let's pivot to, you know, you on the road, man, because sometimes I move around a lot, as you already know. Sometimes I'm in a city and I just stumble, I run into you, not even knowing you there, right? We didn't hit each other up and be like, yo, homie, meet me over here on the corner of 3rd and Main or whatever. Like, nah, dog, I just randomly like bump into you sometimes, which is dope, man, because I do it moving, man. I take this show on the road. I hustle, I grind. You always on the road. Talk to me about the car show circuit, because you do move around a lot, particularly with that movement. Talk to me about that and the toy game and how that's kind of, you know, elevating your profile as well.
Yeah, the Fast and Furious is, you know, what kicked all that off, man. So I've become known as the Honda man with the 3-spoon engines.
Yeah.
And that's just taking me everywhere, dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the car shows are wild because basically it's kind of funny, though, because all the car shows are the same thing with a different name. You know what I'm saying? And so every time I go to a car show, whether it be a lowrider show or an import show, it's crazy, man. And it's wild to see the passion and the love that people have for these cars, to see, you know, the rides out there, how they just customize them, the paint jobs, the interior, the steering wheels, like they're down to detail. You know what I'm saying? It's
every
like
little thing.
It's like Pimp My Ride in real life. And, you know, these cats just get down. They got so much love. There's some people that love their car so much they don't even drive the car. Yeah. They trailer it everywhere. You know, it's just a showpiece. You know what I mean? And it's like some people want their Rolex watch, but some people rather have their fixed up Honda. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the car scene. And what I love about the car scene, which Fast and the Furious did, a lot of people don't recognize this one. I'm going to give you a gold gem right here, is that Fast and the Furious was one of the first movies ever to break the multicultural race scene. Meaning that we had black, Mexican, Asian, and white people in the same movie for the love of the cars. So it wasn't about the color of the person. Right. It was about the love for the cars that brings everybody together no matter what color you are. Right. And so it broke a racial barrier is what I'm getting at. And that's what it is at the car shows, man. You see everybody out there. And racism is so stupid to me because that's why I love God, because God don't talk about the color of a person. He talks about the heart of a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So long story short, man, to be in the car scene and just see people come out for the love/passion of the cars, it's just off the hook. And to be in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
And be hanging out, chilling, and watch the burnout competitions, the limbo competition, who got the best paint job, who got the best sound system, who got this, who got that. It's a wild scene, bro. And to be there live and just check it all out and see all the cars parked in the same spot at once. I would just, give this one message real quick is, just drive carefully, man, because there's a lot of people out there that, I get it, man, they wilding out and they doing stupid stuff nowadays, and they, they hurting people, and themselves as well. And, it just, you got that side of it too. And I get that uncontrollable side is a wild side and one hell of an adrenaline rush. But man, some of these cars you guys don't understand. You trust the car so much, but when it gets out of control, there ain't nothing you could do, and you could take a life.
Yeah.
And then it ain't fun no more.
Real talk. Let's talk about family life, man. I know you have a daughter. Talk to me about the relationship with her and just family overall and what that means to you. And I know that there's some challenges with responding to that because of your situation, particularly when you were a teenager and kind of how you drifted away from that. So tell me how that resonates with you now and what that represents to you in terms of being a father.
Well, my parents were the only two to move to the United States from their families.
Okay.
So I never in my life met my mom's side of the family or my dad's side of the family.
Where are they from, by the way?
My mom is from Mexico, Guadalajara.
Okay.
And my dad's Italian, so he's from Italy.
Oh.
I'm Mexican-Italian. And so long story short, I never in my life met my mom or dad's side of the family. So I literally have no brothers, sisters, cousins, nieces, nephew, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was I had a goldfish once. I'm playing. I had a dog once.
Right.
No. But so, again, that's what I was saying when I was living with that family before. I wanted that so bad, a family, you feel me? Because I'm the only Mexican with no family. Yeah. And Mexicans like gremlins, man. You throw water on us and 5 more come out.
Usually they be rolling the deepest with the family.
That's what I'm saying. We put 20 people in a 2-seater. We work it out. You invite one Mexican, you got a whole camp coming.
Yeah.
But long story short, man, so I don't know. I don't have family. So yeah, that question gets a little hard to answer sometimes. But my daughter, if I'm being 100, which I'll always be, like I said, man, I always tell people, you're going to hate me for 2 reasons. You're going to hate me because I was too truthful with you and you couldn't handle it, or you came up with your own story on why you hate me. Because I'm just going to tell it like it is. But my daughter, to keep it 100, I was not a good father in her life in the starting of her life. I was financially. I was always a good father financially. One from birth, just to be clear.
Right.
But not emotionally. Mm-hmm. And then when I got saved in 2008, then I became a good father emotionally as well.
Right.
So me and my daughter have a good relationship. We talk a lot. I'm in her life. You know what I'm saying? My second son, I'm doing better with him. He lives far. I was a good father in his life too, financially, but not emotionally. But now I'm doing both with both, you know? And my third kid, that's a horror story. You know, the mom could be the devil herself. And that's nothing on the kid.
Yeah.
It's not the kid's fault. I take full responsibility for that, but I have to work that out one day. That's going to be a tough one when the day comes, but it hasn't come yet. So when it comes, it's going to go down how it go down.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave it up to God. He'll take care of it. He'll work it out.
Yeah. Which I'm going to pray for, you know, but, so yeah, you know, one thing that got me with God, bro, was, you know, he doesn't hear the prayers of a sinner. You know, when God sees that you're not sorry because you keep on doing it again and again and again, God himself shuts you off until he sees that you're serious about him. And I never knew that. So sometimes I have to remember that also as well, because God will answer prayers.
Yeah.
But some of your prayers might have not been heard because he knows, like, you ain't serious about me yet. But when you're serious, I'm coming back. And so I say that to say, like, maybe God will be in it when he comes back, or maybe he won't.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll work itself out.
Yeah. However it does.
Talk to me about musically, like, who do you listen to, man, whether it's before you get ready to film a scene, or maybe you got a little bit of downtime, or you're on the road, or you're on a flight. Who are you bumping in the whip, man? Who do you like listening to? You more of an old school cat?
To me, man, I'm gonna keep it 100. Tupac's still alive.
Yeah.
I love Tupac.
He was the greatest.
That's my boy, bro.
Yeah.
I can listen to Tupac on repeat for the rest of my life, bro. Like, that's my G, that's my peeps, that's my dude.
I always wanted to meet Pac. Rest in peace.
Oh man,
I didn't, but I always wanted to meet him.
That would have been one heck of a meeting, bro. I wish I had that moment myself. But yeah, Tupac is my dude, bro. I listen to a lot of music, man, but it's kind of funny. Like, sometimes you listen to a song, but you don't know who's singing the song. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on that page. But, you know, a lot of the oldies, man. Cypress Hill. You know,
shout out to the Hill, right?
Yeah, they're my peeps.
Southgate.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Exhibit,
Mellow Mayonnaise.
Mellow Mayonnaise all day long. Shout out to Mellow.
Yeah.
All that stuff, bro. But I like a lot of the music nowadays. I'm just keeping it 100. It's trash. Right. You know, a lot of even movies. Even a lot of movies are trash. You know, it's very rare that we find a needle in a haystack. You know what I'm saying? With music and movies, you know. Right. Now it's like quantity over quality. You know, the game is so oversaturated that, man, we just, you know, it's sad to say, but we're in a generation that cares a lot less.
It's a different time, man. It's a different time.
Yeah, so when you find some golden nuggets or some needles in the haystack, it's like, oh, whoa, this one caught me out of left field like that. That's a good joint right there, because I haven't heard a good one, you know, for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm searching. Right.
Football season's right around the corner. I know you're a Raider fan.
All day. I tell people we're an emotional support team. We're an emotional support team.
I mean, Antonio Pierce, you know, their new coach, he did a good job last year. He came in, you know, in the middle of the season.
I think with him, man, we up on some game now, because
he's from Compton, man.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like, he came in on some military.
Real street dude.
Yeah, like he came in on some like military street solid, like he turning the camp around. Yeah. That's my whole point. So
yeah,
I think, you know, but it always takes time to find that rhythm. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think we're finding a little bit of it now, but I mean, it's going to get better.
The Raiders, in my perspective, bro, because I'm a football guy, I used to play, and I still love the game, man. They're stacked defensively. They got a good defensive nucleus. The only thing missing, they need a quarterback.
Oh, I got you. I know.
Caden O'Connell is not the answer. Gardner Minshew, who they brought in, you know, he's been in the league like 7-8 years, and he's bounced around from Jacksonville to the Colts. And I think they got a better chance to win right now with him. It'll be interesting to see how that battle plays out, because they're competing against one another right now as we speak.
Right.
In camp. The season's about 6 weeks away. I've been to the Raiders Stadium a few times.
I got to go with you one day.
You've never went?
Man, I've never been.
Oh, homie. Yeah, all right. It's a Sports Hop exclusive. We gonna make that happen this year.
I'm with it, man.
Yeah?
I'm not.
You with it?
I'm not.
You with it?
You know me.
It's
man.
on camera,
I'm
man.
into sports, but I'm not like die hard into sports.
Right,
you know what I mean? I'm on a medium level, so
Hey,
some of the
man.
stuff I know what you're saying, some I don't. But.
A Raider game is similar to going into the hood, man, because you see some brawls, you see some people getting a little bit freaky.
No,
you see football, you see a little bit of everything.
You know
man,
what's funny? I never forget my first ice hockey game.
Yeah.
Ice hockey is not a game for TV, but when you there live, oh my God, I got addicted, bro.
Yeah.
I got addicted, homie. I never forget I was like, that's a game for live, not TV though.
Yeah.
You watch an ice hockey game in person, oh, you on a whole nother level, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to share that.
It's an experience, man, but the stadium is off the chain.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
It's a brand new
stadium. You know what's funny is I did a tour of the stadium,
right?
But I just ain't seen a damn game at the stadium.
Okay.
And I've been in the Raiders store like 15 times because I go buy my gear when I'm over there.
Yeah.
But I ain't seen no game yet live. So you gonna take me?
We gonna make that happen.
All right, let's go.
We gonna make that happen,
with it,
bro. You know.
And what's funny is I know one of the head dudes of the Raider fan club.
Okay.
One of the presidents of that club in Vegas.
Okay.
And so I'm game, bro. Like you ain't gotta convince me for that one.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. A Sports Hop exclusive. Me and Noel G are
my
gonna
boy
pull up.
back in the day used to be on the Raiders. I did him with Teo Johnson. You remember Teo Johnson?
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. He was. And I used to hang out with that guy tough, man, because we did a Snoop Dogg movie together.
Yeah.
And so he invited me, dude. And I didn't even go when he invited me, and he was on the damn team.
You still talk to him now?
Yeah. Teo's the dude. Yeah. He started a cigar company. So.
All right. Shout out to Teo. It's all good. Lakers? Are you a Laker fan?
Yeah. Lakers, Dodgers, Raiders.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Who are your teams?
My teams, I mean, I've always been a Laker fan.
Okay. And then
even before I came to California.
Football, basketball.
Big time. Baseball has always been the Dodgers.
Okay, we got 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
Oh, who's your football?
Football, Denver's been my team for a long time, but they kind of did my boy Russell Wilson dirty, the way they let him go and the way they handled that situation. So I've been thinking about jumping ship. Now, I haven't done it yet, but
you one of them?
I'm close.
You a switch hitter,
bro. I've been a Denver fan for 30 years, bro.
If you a real fan, you stay a fan. Bro.
I didn't say I wasn't a fan anymore.
Death do us part, man.
I said I've been thinking about it because they pissed me off.
I don't be thinking about it.
But
man.
at the end of the day,
hey, I'm the proof of a real fan because Raiders been losing for years, and I'm still a fan, bro.
Hey, man, you know the Raider Nation is so tough, man. I mean, everywhere I go, bro, I mainly see Raiders, but I see Cowboys.
I'll share something I never shared before on a podcast. So this is the way I became a Raiders fan.
How did that go down?
So back in the early days, we just wore it for the gang colors because it was black and gray.
Right.
So I just used to wear it for the gang colors, and I always used to sport Raiders only because of the colors. And long story short, I was like, you know what? Since I've been sporting Raiders my whole life, since I was a kid for the colors, I'm just gonna be a fan of them, and that's how it go down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it all came together.
Shout out to Raider Nation and the Black Hole. Y'all got the most diehard fans I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you know why they did
win or lose.
You know why they didn't really build us a good parking lot at the Raider thing, right? Because by the time we get to the stadium and watch the game, we too tired to fight.
Man, all of that stuff is going down before, during, and after the game.
That's one of my favorite jokes. I'm just playing. They ain't putting no parking lot over there. They said, let them walk. They get to the game, they tired now. Now we just stop the violence.
Yeah. If you had 2 pieces of advice to give to people that are watching the show, maybe there's some aspiring artists, maybe some aspiring actors, actresses, directors, producers. If you could tell them 2 things, what would those 2 things be right now?
Real talk, man. I'm on a new mission now, you know? And again, I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. If you know anyone who is perfect, I'd love to meet him or her.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus was the only perfect person who ever in our life walked the earth. But I would say 2 things, man, because I'm on a new trip now. And I don't care what anybody thinks, just to keep it 100. It would be turn your life over to Jesus Christ.
Good answer.
And I say that in respect, and I say it humbly, and to each their own. If that's not your choice, no judgment here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the second one is just get to know him. You know, like I tell people there's 4 steps, and it's as simple as this, and I'll end with this. I tell them, I even tell them at the starting, don't even trust Jesus right now. Don't even trust him right now. Forget trusting him. Just get to know him. And as you get to know him, you'll start to trust him. And what do you do when you start trusting someone? Start having love for that person.
Right.
Because you can start trusting them, right? And And what do you do when you start having love for someone? You eventually fall in love with them, right? Or you got this real homie love.
Yeah.
And when you fall in love with someone, you don't want to hurt who you really genuinely love. But you can't love nobody until you get to know them first, to trust them, to start having love for them, to fall in love. You feel what I'm saying?
Real talk.
And so that would be my advice to people, man. And that's how God keeps you straight.
Right.
That's how God keeps you in order, because you can't hide nothing from God. You know, you go in a dark closet, whatever, God sees it. You can't hide nothing from God. Can't be in a basement and hide it. No, because God's everywhere, sees everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God got x-ray vision. So long story short, I just tell people that's how you start getting your life back into order. And I don't got to tell you what's wrong with your life, because when you personally get to know God, God himself will tell you what you need to change and not change.
Right.
You know?
Facts.
So that's what I've been telling. That's my new journey now, man. And I'll be real, that journey's been kind of keeping me out of Hollywood. It's been kind of having a lot of doors shut on me because I'm speaking the truth of God. But I think the reason why our world is in so much chaos today is because we lost the foundation / word of God.
Right.
And, you know, when you're serving God, there needs to be a discipline. And we lost the discipline in this world. We become so loose on we don't want to hurt feelings and all this other stuff. Even God himself said, does this offend you? And it was the truth that he was speaking. And that's what he was asking. Does the truth offend you?
Right.
So that's my new trip, you know?
Yeah.
So I tell people, instead of keeping it gangster, keep it Godster. And that's what's up. And if I lose Hollywood over it, you know, so be it. And I'll say this one last thing and I'm done. Jesus himself, when he was with the disciples and they were walking, and Jesus himself said, we're going to go from town to town to town, city to city to city, and we're going to minister, you know, God's word. One of the disciples said, hey, but Jesus, if we walking around and we going from town to town, where are we going to eat? You know, where are we going to sleep? How are we going to eat? And Jesus himself said, do you not know that God takes care of the birds in the air? If he takes care of a bird in the air, he's definitely going to take care of you, because you're more important than the birds in the air. So don't worry about where we sleep. Don't worry about how we're going to eat. God's going to take care of you. You take care of God's business and God will take care of your business.
Right.
And so that's why I'm not worried about nothing. So I just been trying my best, even in the middle of the mess. I've been just trying to serve God, and that's the new tip I'm on. And that's what I, you know, tell people. And if I'm hated for it, so be it. But I tell people, don't worry about it, because when you really, really give in to God, he gonna take care of you more than a bird. He got your back. Don't worry about it.
And speaking of God, man, let's
So
talk.
I'm gonna end with that.
Yeah, but one more thing. Speaking of God,
Which means 5 more things. I'm playing.
let's talk about your project. You know, What is a Christian? The documentary.
And that's what it's all about, man. So the
Which
What
I'm
is
a part of,
Christian,
by the
which
way.
I slapped my boy in it. That's what it is. I wanted people to have an understanding of why Christians think the way they think and why they believe the way they believe.
Yeah.
And why they do things the way that they do things. Because what people have to understand respectfully is that I can see how the world can say, Christians are bad. You guys think everything's bad. You think drinking's bad. You think going to a club is bad. No, we're not. You're misunderstanding. That's not what we're saying at all. Mm-hmm. We're just saying, this is just an example. If you got a problem with alcohol, maybe it's not a wise idea to go to a bar to get a Pepsi.
Right.
You know, God says to use wisdom. So we're not saying everything's bad. We're just saying maybe keep yourself out of environments where you will be more tempted to do rather than not do.
Make better choices.
You understand what I'm saying? And so it's like, no, we're not bad because of this or that. We're just saying there's certain things or certain situations or certain people you shouldn't have around you, because when you're in those environments or around those people, it's easier for you to fall into what you're trying to stay out of. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm doing this documentary. It's called What is a Christian? So people can understand that we don't believe in religion. You know, again, I respect everybody's, you know, whatever they believe, you believe, whatever. But I'm just saying, as for me and whoever else, you know, we don't believe in religion because the devil's job is to divide, kill, conquer, steal, and destroy. And religion divides. So once he divides, you're already arguing now because you're divided. God's truth, you know, stands on a pillar. You don't, like, a lie needs to be supported with lies. You know what I mean? And the reason why it's a personal relationship is because when we stand before God, it's just going to be you and God, and you're going to have to answer for yourself. It's not going to be you and a priest. It's not going to be you, mommy and daddy.
Right.
It's not going to be you and your best friend. It's just going to be you and God. And you got to answer for yourself like I got to answer for myself. And that's why we believe in a personal relationship. We don't believe in religion. Religion was created for power, control, and greed, and it feels like a system. If I can't keep up with the system, why am I doing it anyways? You know, only God knows what you're going through personally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what this documentary is about, is just to help understand, like, oh, that's why a Christian thinks the way a Christian thinks. Oh, that's why a Christian does what a Christian does, the way they do things. Oh, that's why a Christian believes the way they believe. Because I'll be real with you, bro. When I pick God, you know why I really pick God 100%? Facts, hands down, straight up. Because when I really got to know God, he just makes sense. It's people who complicate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you really get to know God, he just makes sense.
Right.
And so, you know, that's what this Christian documentary is about. It's about to help you understand, you know, again, why we think the way we think, and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't want to.
When is that dropping, man?
We just filmed our last day yesterday.
Congrats.
Yeah, worst case scenario, no, best case scenario, end of this year, worst case scenario, beginning of next year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And so that's, and I don't know if I did this one to you. Let me end on this and I'll be done on my side. Did I do this one to you? If a guy knocks on your door, did I ever ask you that?
No.
Let me do this one to you real quick and ask you just one question. If a guy knocks on your door and you home chilling and he says, let me in, man, I just want to eat and take a shower, you gonna let him inside?
In today's times, to be honest with you, no.
But why though? What's the main reason of not letting him in?
Because I don't trust him.
Because you don't trust him. Why though?
Because I don't know him.
Because you don't know him.
I don't have a relationship with him.
And so this is my point. When we stand before God and we say, let us into heaven, which is his home,
right?
He's going to say, I don't know you.
Exactly.
And that's why I tell people, man, God is so simple. It's people who complicate things. You know, God don't force you to be in a relationship with him, because if he forced us, it wouldn't be real, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't come from our own heart, our own decision of wanting and choosing to want him. And so that's what I tell people, man. That's why we don't believe in religion. It's a personal relationship. Heaven is God's home. And you know me, bro. I'm not saying I'm the craziest in the streets. I'm not saying I'm the craziest in the streets. Once again, I want to punch that. But what I am saying is I've been there, done that. I did 4 years in prison. I was facing 15 years for attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon. Been there, done that. Again, I'm not saying I was the craziest in the streets, but I'm saying I've been there, done that. I'm not afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
But there is two things I am afraid of. I'm afraid of hell, and I'm afraid of standing before God, and he says these 4 words to me: I don't know you.
Right.
I'm afraid of that.
Tell everybody watching the show where they can find you on social media. Plug your handles.
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to say much love and respect. Thank you for watching and just keeping up. If you made it to the end, man, maybe that was what you were meant to hear at wherever you're at in your life. And, you know, your life could be this, that, or the other, but it could definitely change and have a turnaround if you just let God be involved. God wants to be a part of your decisions. He wants to be a part of your choices. All you got to do is open the door and let him in. I want to thank Mack B, man, for having me on the show and bringing me through. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a minute. We finally got it in. So happy to be here, man. I want to see your continued success, your continued growth. I can't wait to see what's coming up for you and what you got in the mix, because I know this guy, if anybody's been working since day one, we've been working since TV was black and white. I think we did some silent film together. You know what I'm saying?
Since the Flintstone days.
Yeah, we did a project with Alfred Hitchcock. You feel me? So we've been there, done that. But so just to see you grow and continue forward, man, blessings to you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
And my last words, man, are just, you know, instead of keeping it gangster, keep it Godster. I always say God first, and the rest will work itself out. You want to keep up with me on my Instagram, actor Noel G, and check out some of my new projects. I got a project that just dropped called Cash Out with John Travolta and Quavo from the Migos.
Nice.
I'm working on The Bookie with Charlie Sheen right now, up in that mix, and my boy Sebastian, the comedian, and got my own project that I'm pushing forward, What is a Christian? That's going to be dropping soon. Drop some heat on that. And that's pretty much it, man. But if you follow my IG, I'm always keeping my people updated. So much love and respect to all of you watching who support this show. Continue supporting, continue watching, And I'm going to shut up now. Don't give a Mexican a mic because we'll talk.
And last but not least, you know what time it is. Tap in with your boy, Mack B. All social media handles at Mack B, M-A-C-K-B as in boy _, at Sports Hop Media. Episode 35 is in the books. I got my player partner, Noel G, on the couch. Keep it locked.
All day. Aha!
Thanks for watching Sports Hop. Subscribe here for all the latest news on hip hop and sports. It's your boy, Mack B.